Okay, so we are politically, culturally, and economically in a moment in time in history. And I want to talk to you about that. And I'm going to give you some solutions that you can be doing right now to protect your freedom. So let's talk about it. This is the Hey Ed YouTube channel. I am your host, moderator, and all-around nice guy, Edward Anderson. Please like, subscribe, and share. Okay, so as I'm recording this, it is June 1st, 2024, and a couple of days ago, we had an event take place here in America that is going to go down in history as a pretty embarrassing and disgraceful day. And I wanted to take this opportunity to weigh in myself. And of course, this topic is all over, the internet right now. So there is a plethora of people giving their opinion about what's going on today. And for the sake of posterity, I wanted to weigh in so that 30 years from now, when some grad student is doing a history report, maybe he'll come across this YouTube video and get my take on what's going on. Okay, so for the record, what happened 2 days ago?
Former President Donald Trump will be addressing supporters this morning after being found guilty on all 34 counts in his New York criminal trial. He's set to be sentenced on July 11th, which is just days before the Republican National Convention.
The facts of the law of the case here are an absolute joke. There isn't a serious lawyer in the country, Democrat or Republican, who will privately tell you this was a legitimate case. I'm getting calls from friends of mine who are Democrats and who are liberals, but who won't speak out, who say, of course this is outrageous, of course this is a political trial, of course there was no basis for convicting him of a misdemeanor based on the statute of limitations, but we're thrilled, we're happy, we're cheering for the result, because this is part of the whole get Trump mentality.
Okay, so is the grand American experiment over? Is the idea of a democracy, of a democratic republic, out the window? Is it over? Is this empire about to end? Now, the single most important document in American history, and in my opinion, world history, is the United States Constitution. And what happened the other day is a shredding of the Constitution. We have one political party going after their opponent using legal terms. The legal system has been turned upside down. It has been weaponized. Listen, this no longer is about Democrats versus Republicans. It's not about Donald Trump versus Joe Biden. This is about the principles that the United States of America were founded upon and that the world looks to. These are the principles that made America the envy of the world. We are going to be living with the consequences of this event that took place 2 days ago for the rest of the existence of America. It's going to be a constant battle between good and evil. Now, listen, sometimes it's hard to know what's right and what's wrong. But in this situation, we know what is wrong. We know what is going on here. Now, America and Americans in particular are famous for our optimism. We are famous for looking on the bright side of things, right? In every cloud, there's a silver lining. The American spirit, the entrepreneurial spirit, the frontiersman spirit, the independent spirit, the freedom-loving spirit. So again, one of the things we are known for is turning the other cheek and taking the high road and not getting into the gutter, with our enemies. We like to put our heads down and just go about our lives and take care of business. But as that famous saying goes, the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. Well, we cannot afford to do nothing here. We have to stand up. People have to recognize what's going on here, and we have to push back. We have to fight back. Now, you would hope that people would recognize what's going on here. They would recognize the evil. And I'm not using that term lightly, okay? This is evil. And you would hope that Americans out there and really people around the world will stand up and say no. And again, it's not about Trump and it's not about Biden. It's not about Democrats versus Republicans. This is about right and wrong. And come on, whereas many times we're confused about what's right, in this case, we know what's right. You have to stand up and you have to vote. Come this November, the single most important thing you can do is you have to vote for Trump. Not because you like Trump, but this is a statement. This is pushback against evil. This is a pushback against the cabal, against the elites who want to control every aspect of your life. And if you disagree with them, they will put you in jail. Even if you're a soft Democrat, or even if you're a hardline Democrat, you have to stand up for what's right here. You have to say, no, this is wrong. You've gone too far. Regardless of what political party you are in, the one group you are a part of is you're American. The one unifying document, the one unifying underlying theme of America is the Constitution of the United States of America, the principles that lie therein. So this year, it's about whether or not you're going to stand up for the principles that makes America unique. You have to send a message to these elitists that no, this is not the way we conduct ourselves. What the elitists are doing is they're turning back on all of the precious values that we hold true as Americans. We have adopted the Stalinist Soviet era mindset. Let me remind you of a quote made by Lavrentiy Beria. This guy was the henchman for Stalin. Show me the man and I'll find you the crime. What that saying says is, I don't care who you are. I don't care whether you're pure as the undriven snow. I will find something on you. And if I can't find something on you, I will pin something on you. I'll make something up and I will destroy you. The leftists in this country, the progressives, they are Stalinists. They take every element of our society and they're putting the fascist totalitarianism stamp on every aspect of our society. Power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely, right? We have people in this country who cannot tolerate any dissent. I mean, come on. If Trump were any other person, none of this would happen. This is a novel, unique crime that they cobbled together out of nothing. And why did they do this? They did this because they could. They went to Manhattan. They found a corrupt judge, a corrupt jury, a corrupt DA. The legal system has been shredded. The legal system has been turned upside down. This is an embarrassment. To quote Kevin O'Leary, our global brand has been tarnished. People around the world right now are laughing at us. We are a laughing stock right now. Our prestige has been diminished. The people who are really pulling the strings in our society are not representative of our people. As a matter of fact, the people with the real power, the people who are really setting the agenda for America, are people, often outside of our country. Most of our politicians right now are globalists. They don't believe in America first. They don't believe in the true values of America. They don't like America. They believe in this new global community, this one world thing. I'm not going to say the word here because the algorithm will pick it up. But the dictates and the agenda by which America is now living by are created by people outside of our country. Now, listen, I want to make it perfectly clear. Yes, I'm a Republican, but I'm barely a Republican. I'm a conservative first, and in a very distant second place is the Republican moniker. Trust me, there are a lot of Republicans I don't have any use for either. The political class in our country, these people are corrupt. They are not there to look out for the people. We have what you call a uniparty. The real people who are in charge are behind the scenes. It almost doesn't matter who the president of the United States is. The powers to be behind the curtain, they're the ones who are really in control. And these elites, they'll use any kind of emergency. And if there's not an emergency that they can use, they'll create an emergency so that they can gather more control over you. It's not enough for you to rely on your government to look out for your freedoms. You have to start taking care of yourself. Now, the single best way they can control you is through the monetary system. So I'm shifting gears here a little bit here, right? It's all tied together. I'm transitioning to a little different topic. The single best way you can protect your freedoms, or at least mitigate the risks to your freedom, is financially, to find ways to become financially independent. But you're competing with an enemy who has a very strong, they have all the power. And the single best way they have of controlling you is through the monetary system. Let me issue and control a nation's money, and I care not who writes the laws. Mayor Amschel Rothschild. These people know how to control you. And to drive home that point even more, let's remember what Henry Kissinger had to say on this topic. If you control the food, you control a nation. If you control the energy, you control a region. If you control the money, you control the world. Does this sound familiar to you? If you control the food, if you control the energy, if you control the money, do these themes sound familiar? Oh, what is coming out of the leftists and the progressives right now? They want to control the food, the energy, and the money. And of course, if you want to destroy a country, the single best thing you can do is to destroy its currency. The way to crush The bourgeoisie is to grind them between the millstones of taxation and inflation. Okay, those are the words of Vladimir Lenin. So our Congress, our Federal Reserve, our banking system, these people are destroying our currency. Just like what Janet Yellen said way back in the day, and I think she regrets saying this, but we have her on record. There is a risk when we use financial sanctions that are linked to the role of the dollar that over time, it could undermine the hegemony of the dollar. But what is she doing? She is destroying the value of the US dollar. Along with Jerome Powell, remember, the Federal Reserve is not a government institution. It is a private bank. These people have other people to answer to. They don't answer to the American people. They have private parties, private interested parties to answer to. And all we can do is live with the crumbs that are left on the floor after they take the really big profits. Okay, this whole thing about inflation, right? Okay, our cost of living is up over 20% since this current, jerkwad has been put into office. And inflation doesn't get rolled back. When they say, the rate of inflation is down, things are not getting cheaper. They never get cheaper. It's just that your buying power will lose its value at a little slower rate from time to time. And of course, they want to take the added step of getting rid of fiat currency. The dollar bills or the British pounds or the French francs that you have in your wallet, they are losing value every single day due to inflation. And they don't like the idea of you having the physical fiat currency in your hand, because that way you can conduct, transactions anonymously. You can live your money, privately. They can't have that. They want to know exactly what you're up to in every aspect of your life. This is about control. They want to know who you are, where you are, what you're spending your money on, and they want to be able to control what you can spend your money on. And that is the grand scheme behind these CBDCs, the central bank digital currencies. And now they're very brazen. Now they're saying this out loud. Christine Lagarde, European Central Bank head, revealed CBDCs could be used for control amid the banking crisis. Okay, this is why they like crises, right? They use the crises to gain control. Look what happened during that worldwide flu. I can't say the actual word, right? Because my channel will be shut down. So don't tell me there's freedom of speech anymore. But this is what CBDCs are. Now, you might be thinking, well, what's the big deal? Is this another, digital whatever? I use my debit card for everything anyway. And look at Bitcoin. I mean, that's a digital currency. There's a big difference here between a digital currency like a CBDC and a cryptocurrency. CBDCs, for example, can be programmed so that they can tell you what you can spend your money on and what you can't spend your money on. And if you owe money in taxes, they can electronically take your money. And if you want to fight it, you can fight about it later, go to court and, get a lawyer and say, no, I didn't owe that money. But, good luck with that. They can take your money at their leisure, at their whim. And God forbid you want to, buy a gun or buy ammunition, or if you want to use your money to contribute to the wrong political party, they can say, no, okay, they can program your money. Now, a lot of people will say that the destruction of our currencies is an issue of incompetence. I actually believe that it is by design. These people know what happens when you issue, a buttload of debt. Okay, so I'm getting toward the tail end of my message here. So hang in there, okay? Because this is important stuff for you to be aware of. Our national debt, as of this recording, stands at $34.5 trillion. This is unsustainable. Okay, so we've been able to get away with this to some extent for a while, but now it's becoming unsustainable. But up until now, people have been buying our debt. They've been buying our U.S. treasuries. Well, something is happening right now. Foreign countries, people are not interested in buying our U.S. treasuries anymore. So 2 weeks ago, we had a U.S. treasury auction, and people weren't showing up to buy them. Okay, now the proverbial blank is starting to hit the fan. And we can see an acceleration in the degradation of the U.S. dollar. Not only are people and foreign governments not buying our new treasuries, but they're starting to sell the treasuries they already own. World War III is already underway. Now, I think there's already kind of a shooting war going on, but economically, we've been in World War III now for a few years. China's $53.3 billion divestment in U.S. treasuries signals massive shift from dollar assets. China has been accelerating their sale of U.S. treasuries. Now, 5 years ago, China was the largest holder of U.S. debt, but now they moved into second place behind Japan. Now, there are two problems with this, okay? Well, on the one hand, a lot of these countries, they're in their own dire financial situations, and the easiest and quickest form of cash is U.S. treasuries. So they sell the U.S. treasuries. And it's not just our enemies like China who are selling, U.S. treasuries. Our allies are also starting to sell U.S. treasuries. Belgium sold off $22 billion of treasuries during this same period. So our allies are running away from U.S. debt and the U.S. dollar as well. And in addition to attacking, the dominance of the U.S. dollar by selling our treasuries, which is kind of a passive-aggressive thing, and also being very aggressive and overt about attacking the role of the U.S. dollar as the world reserve currency through the BRICS alliance. And the BRICS alliance is growing. More and more countries around the world are joining the BRICS coalition. And the BRICS coalition primary mission is to attack, destroy, and devalue the U.S. dollar. Now, at the moment, the U.S. dollar is still the world's reserve currency, but that is very quickly being diminished. The BRICS coalition is on a mission to create a truly new world order. And they are planning on achieving that mission primarily through economic means, starting with attacking and diminishing the U.S. dollar. And of course, these elitists have other ways of transferring wealth from you to them. Start looking for climate change taxes, hitting your pocketbook. Start looking for taxes being put on meat and anything else that they don't like. Remember, America is broke. We don't have any money. No government has money. They've never had money. Any money that the governments get comes from us. So when they're very generous by doling out money to stupid, evil causes like Ukraine, where we send them $60 billion. How many world-class high schools could we build in America for $60 billion? How many homeless veterans could we house in palatial houses for $60 billion? Instead, we send a check for $60 billion to a country that's notorious for being the most corrupt country in Europe. But anyway, I won't go down that rabbit hole here. And of course, we've got our actual literal banking system itself to worry about. Our banking system is in trouble. There is going to be another round of bank closures coming, imminently. And there is going to be a financial crisis coming at some point. I can't tell you the exact date, but it is going to come. You cannot trust your money in your bank. Remember, any money you have sitting in your bank is legally not considered your money. So expect another round of enormous pain in the banking system, and don't let yourself be a victim. I don't want you to find yourself standing in one of those long lines trying to get your money out of your bank that just, went under. And please don't tell me the government is there to protect you. The FDIC is broke, my friends. It doesn't have the money. And of course, we should not have fiat currency to begin with. I mean, circling back to how our Constitution is being ignored, let me remind you what the Constitution said about the monetary system to begin with. No state shall make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debts. Article 1, Section 10. We're not supposed to have, paper dollar bills in our wallet to begin with. Now, the central banks know that our fiat currencies are pieces of paper. They're not backed by anything. They're literally just pieces of paper. They know that, and that is why they have been hoarding gold. I mean, they don't want you to own gold and silver, but they have quietly been accumulating gold very aggressively for quite a while now. Now, remember, central banks are the people who are supposed to be, the guardians of our currency. So these people who are supposed to be protecting and defending our currencies, what are they doing? They're buying gold. So if they don't like their fiat currencies, why should you? Don't listen to what they say. Look at what they do. More and more people these days are struggling. Don't listen to the government saying that everything's rosy, that everything's good. It's not. They're lying to you. People cannot afford to buy houses anymore. Credit card usage is at an all-time high. It's well over $1 trillion now for the first time in history. At the same time, the interest rates on those same credit cards are at all-time highs, over 21%. Okay, so listen, the theme of my channel is about finding ways to preserve your personal freedoms. And the best way to do that is financially. That's why I have the mantra that I have for my channel is reduce your exposure to your bank, put some of your money into gold and silver, and establish streams of passive recurring income. And now you have to make sure that this year you vote properly. You have to vote for Trump. Even you Democrats, even your hardcore liberal Democrats. This year is not about Donald Trump and Joe Biden. It's about whether we are going to preserve our republic or not. That's what you're voting on right now. These people have gone too far. The toothpaste is out of the tube. You know, the Pandora's box has been opened. Whatever cliche you want to use. But these are very important times. Now, every election cycle, we say this is the most important election of our lifetime. Well, this is truly the most important election of our lifetime. And it's not about one man versus the other. It's about good versus evil. It's about right versus wrong. The values of America are, in play here. They are the ones that are under attack. They're at risk of being obliterated. And we could turn into that totalitarian, fascist, Stalinist regime that we used to despise. I would really love to get your comments on this video. What do you think about the things that I said? And I want to hear it all, man. If you disagree with me, please let it all hang out. I mean, there is freedom of speech, in this channel, unless of course you use like profanity or something like that. But I do want to hear your honest opinion about the message that I put out, in this video. And if you don't mind, could you support my channel by hitting that like button, the subscribe button, and maybe even share the video with people? Ed Anderson, live from Minnesota, signing out.
Copy that.